Shalom, good evening. This is TV7 Israel News broadcast to you from Jerusalem. The United States asserts that the Islamist Hamas is solely to blame for any and all events taking place in the Gaza Strip. Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan voices a prayer calling for the destruction and devastation of Israel. The IDF, in collaboration with the ISA or Shin Bet and Mossad intelligence agency, eliminate a senior Hezbollah terror operative who directed Hamas in advancing a significant and imminent terror attack against Israeli civilians on European soil. The IDF continues to gradually escalate its military offensive against the Islamist Hamas terror organization in the Gaza Strip. Evacuation orders to the Gazan residents of the town of Rafah in the southern part of the enclave have seemingly raised tensions amongst the ranks of the Islamist Hamas as the terror group failed to gain any operational advantages to date. It is important to explain that the relocation of the residents both in the northern and southern Gaza Strip aims to have the IDF seize those territories for the purpose of an expansion of its security parameter. Moreover, the expansion of the security parameter, coupled with the halt of humanitarian aid and adherence to Article 23 of the Fourth Geneva Convention, are designed to create decisive pressure on the Islamist Hamas, which for the time being continues to refuse U.S. Special Envoy Steve Witkoff's proposal for a ceasefire in exchange for the release of at least half of the 59 hostages from captivity in the Gaza Strip. Meanwhile, the IDF's 252nd Division are continuing targeted operations in northern and central Gaza, with the special engineering forces of the Yalom unit dismantling subterranean infrastructure belonging to the Islamist Hamas terrorist organization. According to the IDF spokesperson's unit, the 252nd Division have thus far eliminated also over 50 terror operatives, which continue to threaten the security of Israel's civilian communities. Among others, Hamas terror operatives attempted to launch 2 rockets toward Israeli territory earlier today. Thankfully, the first rocket was intercepted by Israel's Iron Dome aerial defense array, while the second projectile that Hamas had launched regrettably landed within a Palestinian residential area. And while no injuries or damage were reported in Israel, the Palestinian Health Ministry, which is run by the Islamist Hamas, claimed a number of casualties which it blatantly blamed Israel for. Meanwhile, in Washington, U.S. State Department spokeswoman Tammy Bruce responded to a question by a journalist who parroted reports by local Hamas terror operatives on a high toll of Palestinian casualties, which the terror group claimed was the consequence of Israeli aerial strikes using American munitions.
Well, I can tell you that for too long, Hamas has abused civilian infrastructure, cynically using it to shield themselves. Hamas's actions have caused humanitarians to be caught in the crossfire. The use of civilians or civilian objects to shield or impede military operations is itself a violation of international humanitarian law. And of course, we expect all parties on the ground to comply with international humanitarian law. Well, every single thing that is happening in Gaza is happening because of Hamas. Every single dynamic. I'll say again, I've said it, I think, in every briefing. All of this could stop in a moment if Hamas returned all the hostages and the hostage bodies they are still holding and put down its weapons. There is one entity that could stop it for everyone in a moment, and that is Hamas.
Turning to Turkey, where President Recep Tayyip Erdogan, during an Islamist prayer service to mark the end of Ramadan on Sunday, March 30th, called for the destruction and devastation of Israel.
Filistin'de yaşananları görüyoruz, biliyoruz ve Siyonist İsrail'i Rabbim Kahhar ismi şerifi hürmetine kahru perişan eylesin.
The Turkish leader continued by praying for the eliminated terror operatives of Hamas and Palestinian Islamic Jihad and wished a speedy recovery for their wounded terrorists. The escalating rhetoric from the Turkish leader was made amid rising tensions between Ankara and Jerusalem over Israel's refusal to accept the new jihadist rulers of Damascus. Turkey and Qatar have ratcheted up efforts to convince Western powers of a miraculous reformation of the former al-Qaeda operatives of the Hayat Tahrir al-Sham terror organization, with interim leader of Damascus, Abu Muhammad al-Julani, orchestrating a swearing-in ceremony of a new regime, which he claimed to be inclusive of all Syrians.
أود أن أؤكد أن هذه الحكومة هي حكومة التغيير والبناء، حكومة تتحمل على عاتقها تطلعات الشعب وآماله في مستقبل مشرق ومستدام، وإننا على يقين أن العمل الجاد والمخلص والتعاون بين جميع أبناء الوطن سيكونان المفتاح لتحقيق هذه الأهداف.
While announcing his interim government, which intends to rule for the next 5 years unopposed as a government of change, all of the key positions in the temporary regime have been manned by former members of Al-Qaeda and the Islamic State, including its foreign minister, defense minister, interior minister, among others.
إن موقفي أمامكم اليوم يشعرني بمسؤولية جليلة تجاه كل مواطن سوري في الداخل كان أو في المهجر، وأتعهد أمامكم اليوم أن تكون الدبلوماسية السورية صوتاً للحكمة والاتزان وجسراً منفتحاً للحوار ودرعاً حصيناً يحمي مصالحنا الوطنية.
There were 3 non-Islamist appointments from non-relevant members of the Druze, Shiite, and Christian minorities. The latter appointment, for example, included Hind Kabawat, who received the social affairs portfolio and is a known feminist activist who previously served as director of the Canadian Interfaith Peacebuilding at George Mason University's Center for World Religions, Diplomacy and Conflict Resolution, with chief focus on Christian Islamist relations. Despite her appointment, the Salafist leadership in Damascus has already enacted a list of decisions making it increasingly harder for Christians to live in Syria, to include forced indoctrination of Islamist education. Meanwhile, in Washington, the Trump administration is not oblivious to the facade of the interim government in Damascus.
We recognize the struggles of the Syrian people who have suffered decades under despotic rule and oppression of the Assad regime, and we hope this announcement represents a positive step for an inclusive and representative Syria. However, Syria's interim authorities should fully renounce and suppress terrorism, exclude foreign terrorist fighters from any official roles, prevent Iran and its proxies from exploiting Syrian territory, take meaningful steps to verifiably destroy Assad's chemical weapons, assist in the recovery of U.S. and other citizens who have been disappeared in Syria, and ensure the security and freedoms of Syria's religious and ethnic minorities. The United States will continue to assess the interim authorities' behavior and determine our next step based on those actions. And you mentioned about sanctions. Any adjustment to U.S. policy towards Syria's interim authorities will be contingent on all of those steps being taken that I mentioned to you. Thank you, everyone.
Similarly to Washington, Jerusalem is clear-eyed about the jihadist interim regime in Damascus, alongside previously announced intentions of the self-proclaimed president Abu Muhammad al-Julani, also known as Ahmad al-Shara, to fight Israel. The internationally designated terrorist has also released all of Hamas's terror operatives from Syrian jails and is closely coordinated with other terror groups seeking to attack Israel. Turning to Lebanon, where overnight the Israel Air Force struck and eliminated Hezbollah terror operative Hassan Ali Mahmoud Badir, a member of the Iranian proxies Unit 3900 and the Iranian Quds Force in the Dahya neighborhood of Beirut.
Very early this morning, IDF fighter jets struck a Hezbollah terrorist in Beirut. He had recently been directing Hamas terrorists and assisting them in an attempt to carry out a major imminent attack against Israeli civilians. The terrorists posed a real and immediate threat, what we called a ticking bomb. Therefore, we had to eliminate the threat. Israel will continue to remove any threat to our citizens.
According to a joint statement by the IDF, ISA or Shin Bet, and the Mossad intelligence agency, the Hezbollah operative Badia recently operated in cooperation with the Hamas terrorist organization, directed Hamas terrorists and assisted them in planning and advancing a significant and imminent terror attack against Israeli civilians, which circulating reports suggest the target included an Israeli commercial aircraft departing the island of Cyprus, which is an EU member state. Thank you for watching TV7 Israel News. I would like to once again seize this opportunity to thank TV7's family of viewers who are instrumental in proactively backing TV7 Israel's continuity of productions. Keep praying for the peace of Jerusalem and salvation of Israel. I'm Jonathan Hessen wishing you an Erev Mevorach, and God willing, we'll see you during our next update. Until then, Shalom from Jerusalem.